I am choosing to do my presentation on Epic Books. This is something that I use in my classroom quite often, and as well as other teachers in the district. Now, here's what happens, and you have to log in. It's free for an educator, but you can only be using it in the classrooms. The students do not have access to it once they are at home. um, One good thing, though, is that with our stay-at-home order, we did get the option for free to invite the parents to it, and if they logged in, then they could do this at home. So that was really nice, and so that was one of them. Now, you'll come to this page. It's just the regular login and students and educators. So that's really good. And if you are a student, they would log in over here, and this is my classroom's code. So I'll show you that a little bit later. And so there's that. And then they would just hit the go button. But since I am the teacher, I'll come over here, log in with my school account, and it will come up to our homepage. And it looks kind of busy here over. Yes, it does look very busy, but let me tell you, if I can do this, you can do this. I'm an old dog learning new tricks, so if I found it quite easy to use, so will you. Now, over here, you will see your students' recent activity. Now, I did go ahead before I started this and changed everybody's initials, my students, since this is my classrooms. So you'll see just the initials. And one of my star pupils here was getting on it quite often, and I'm so proud of her. So that's just like the quick and easy dashboard. Over here, you do have a classroom page. Right now, I did notice that some things got changed from the stay-at-home order because they were offering it free. I did have separate classrooms set up, but that was kind of like deleted. Resets it every year. It is, so there's like my recent page, or my page right now. It's my classrooms. I have 10 kids in my classroom currently, technically 9 because I have a guest one to practice with. These are the recent books that my kids have been reading. So you can see what they are kind of interested in, some of them. So I'm going to go back a bit here for this classroom, or this page. And as you can see, there are several topics that you can use. We have there's science, math, art, social studies, anything you can think of, ELA, anything you can think of, and it's on here. And it's really cool to use. I use this a lot for when my kids are in the gen ed classrooms and they have to, if there's a topic that all kids are learning or reading about, and they're supposed to be silent reading or whatnot, this is a great feature because they also have it since the 2 gen ed classrooms that I go into, like for one class, they have their own account too, so my students don't feel left out. If they're going on Epic, my kids can go on Epic too. I should say all of our kids. They can go on Epic too because they're not required to do the same exact books because nobody knows what everybody else is working on. So there's some really cool features in here, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Over here, with your settings, you can allow videos. That's also helpful with my students, and allows students to create a profile. And that's not a big deal. And I chose 4th grade. I teach 4th and 5th multiple disabilities. And so when you log in, you can go for any amount of any level that you're with. So if you're a kindergarten teacher, you put in the kindergarten. If you're a 12th grade teacher, you put in 12th grade. And so like over here, you'll see students. Yes, okay. I don't want to show you that too much here, but here's all my students, and it tells you the summary of what they read. Daily reading. I wanted to click off that for email purposes. And obviously this is the last week, so nobody has read in my classroom, which I don't I'm not surprised it is summer. So it'll show you with the weekly how many minutes they did on each one. Assignments. You can assign books or quizzes to the students. They do have an option for quizzes. One, you can look for books that already have quizzes with them, or you can, on some books, create your own quiz, which is a really handy feature because you could be asking different students different questions based on where their ability level is. And you can build your library by collections, by your favorites, topics, recent ones, or hidden contact. Let's see, back to here, back home. I'm going to go here again. And what you can do is, what I like to do is explore, and all kinds of content that you can explore. If you want to go for just audiobooks, ELA, here they have different chapter books or novels, folk tales, myths, fables. So they give you different topics right here, or subgroups. Science and the arts, the same thing. Social emotional learning, which is big now. And as you can see, all this, and they give you subcategories that you can pick as well. So with my students, what I like to do is go to Read to Me, because they are the most successful with that when there's in the classrooms, in the gen ed classrooms, when they don't have to do so much reading with them. So what I can do is I come here, and so I do have some recommended ones. And if you see here, if it's a Read to Me book, it'll say Read to Me in the corner. If it does not read to me, then it's a book that you have to read yourself, or the student has to read themselves. And they can plug their headphones or right into the computer. And if you want to assign this book, you just assign it to here. You can assign it to groups of people. You can do it to the whole class. And that's, you just select the student and then assign to selected student. Or you can, from here, you can add more students. And if you can also like it, and it would go up here where it's into my library, where you could put it in your favorites or different categories. And you can create different classes, put students in like my math class or my reading class, and that's where they would be. So there's a lot of versatile options with that. Say I got onto this one and I wanted to preview it. Okay, you see this, and let's see. You go to play it. Oops. And you, oh dear.
At war in Iraq. U.S. Marines were headed for Fallujah. Rebels had taken over the Iraqi city.
And you realize, oh dear, I have that one student who is infatuated with guns and war, and you don't want to promote violence or anything else with that one particular student. You can put hide the book. And if you hide it, you can hide it, but it will hide it from your whole class. So any of your students in there. So you might want to say yes, you might want to say no. That's on your comfort level for that one. Again, here you can create your own quiz for it, or you can share it with somebody else. And again, from here you can assign it. So that is really cool there. If you're searching for a topic, let's see, you just want to go, okay, well, let's see about life science. And just type that in. Okay, well, see, as you see here, it's not reading to me. So you can come up here and also click Read to Me. And again, I'm showing you Read to Me because that's the feature I use quite often and I'm most comfortable with. And you're like, oh, okay, so here's body parts. And it'll give you a little snippet of, age to 7 or 7 to 10, the level, pages, how many pages are in there, and there's no quiz attached to it. But you can create your own quiz once you open it up, if you choose to do so. Sometimes I like to create quizzes just in Google Docs, and it might be easier for them, or I just ask them questions when they're done. So that would be that. There is a feature, let's see, And I mean, my kids love this, and it's amazing that they will sit there and listen to a book, and they just love it when people read to them. And since they have the pictures, and I like it because it does show word for word. Oh, well, I'm clicked on the Spanish one. It'll highlight each word as it goes so kids can follow along. Let's see what else. And then there are videos. Well, not for life science, but if you just went for videos, oh dear, I lost it now. There we go. And it'll show you different videos as well. And it's like a little film, National Geographic for them. And again, they have their own Chromebooks at school. They know what they're looking at, and they will be able to do this. You can use this any device. If you, whatever you use on your computer, if a student has a device, an assistive technology device, it would be the same as you could use it on here as well because it's all touch button. You can download the app on an iPad or on your phone. The one cool thing I found earlier is that you can come down here at the bottom, was here earlier, and if you teach a younger class, you can print off this cute little caterpillar, and every time your class reads a certain amount of books, it'll tell you when you can put this up, and just you'll cut them out, and they also send them to you on the email. Or there's monthly topics if you wanted to have something fun and different to give to your students, and come here and you just print that out for them, and they can do those extra activities if you so choose. Now, it's totally free for educators, so I think it's one of the best ones I've seen. I do also use Reading A to Z or Raz Kids, but this is fun for the classrooms when they go into the gen ed classrooms typically because the students are already using those. And we all have our own classes, and I do have access to the other teachers, so I can quickly add, if I know the topic of what the students are learning, I quickly type it in. And when there's independent work time, or if there's just that one website that students are working on independently in the classroom, and you're like, whoa, my students would need too many adaptations for that it wouldn't even be the content that they're learning. So let's find something that's more applicable to my students within the same content. So if they're writing huge amounts of paragraphs for how the volcano erupts or whatnot, I can type in volcanoes and they're still researching it just on the computer or through the Epic books. So it does teach all subject areas. Let's see, it's super easy to learn. As you can see, I already have it bookmarked right here. My students have it all bookmarked up here. All they have to do is click on that and it is good to go. So, and I think that's it. There's not, yeah, so they do have online help. I haven't used it because it's been super easy to figure out and learn. The more you get into it, the more you learn, and it's just great. And so that's about it in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed watching that.